Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillahi wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man wala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, mashallah, it's a beautiful sight to see all the classes together. Alhamdulillah, may Allah bless and protect you all. Ameen, inshallah. May Allah see you all the way to the end of the journey of the Quran. Ameen, inshallah. Okay, so today is actually an exciting day because it's sort of not a launch for InLight, but it's our first public event. So the InLight Foundation is actually kind of almost born out of Mizan. Mizan is the institute where we learn Arabic and Quran. Alhamdulillah, we've seen hundreds of people come and study and learn and grow and develop over the years. I think we've been running now for 8 years. I can't keep track sometimes. And out of those classes and out of discussions with Mizan students and out of really engaging with people, the InLight Foundation sort of finds its roots and it becomes established. So I'll briefly want to just tell you about the InLight story, because some of you might have seen we spam you with some videos and some WhatsApps and some emails. But just to tell you the story, on a personal level, most of you do know my personal story. Maybe some of the first years don't know. I'll tell you one day, inshallah. But the summarized version is that my original background is from the corporate world. So after school, I went to university, did business science, and then I went to live in Joburg. Nice place to be for a while. And then lived in Joburg for a few years and worked as a management consultant in Joburg. And I did actually enjoy it. And then at some stage, and then I decided to stop and decided to do Islamic studies, and now I try and do both. But that's a brief story. One day I'll tell you the full story one day, inshallah. But the point being is that there's been a transition in my personal life from kind of like the normal corporate world into, let's call it community. When I say community, I mean that's classes. Now you're engaging with the ulama, you're engaging with Islamic institutions, and you're engaging in a whole new world. Now, some of you might have the same journey, which means some of you might be in corporate now, and on the side you have some community projects which you're involved on, maybe on the board you're supporting, you're helping out. But to be honest, when you move from corporate to community work, it's actually a really big shock to the system. It's like you're living in two different planets. On the one hand, on the corporate side, you have this highly efficient machine. There's a big focus on development and growth. There's a huge amount of energy, a huge amount of investment. You know, it's a highly developed part of the market. And then you take a step out of that and you come to the Islamic world. And you go to madrasas and masajids and hifz schools. And you find people who are sincere and people who are hardworking, trying to make a difference. But what do you find? There's a serious lack of organizational skills. That there's not that investment in organizational skills. Number two, there's almost no focus on development. Something just starts and it just carries on. There's no 5-year plan, 10-year plan, targets, years investment to reach out to a certain vision. It just carries on. It's very small scale. I mean, the work of the Islamic institutions compared to the energy investment in the corporate world, you can't compare the two. You know, I think we have less than a stationary budget of most of the companies. Like you can't compare the two. Like the average Madrasah teacher gets paid between 1.5 and 2,000 rand a month. That's average. If you're 3, you're like on a high level. That's every day, Monday to Thursday, 2 hours a day. It's a completely different world. There's no investment, and it's all just hot. People don't do it. People do it because they love it, because it's needed. And if you live in these two worlds, for me, it's the irony of this is what? The irony of this is that we have, and through the Mizan classes we've seen this, we have a huge population of Muslim professionals, experts who have deep experience, they have deep skills. But at the same time, we're producing these institutions which have this massive underinvestment and serious challenges. Like, how do we reconcile that as a ummah? As the Cape Town ummah, how do we reconcile having so many senior people, but we have institutions that need so much help? And I'm not blaming the institutions, I'm blaming the other half. Because the people in the institutions are doing what they can to their capacity. I'm asking the people who have the capacity, who are not doing anything, what are you doing? What is your role in building society? So at the offset, this is the story of InLight. The second part of InLight is the story of the Quran. And maybe the first is you're early in your days still. But one of the things that the Quran is going to speak about most constantly is, where do you attach your heart to? Where do you attach your efforts to? Don't turn to shaitan. Don't turn to nafs. Don't turn to dunya. Don't make the material world your entire world. Don't make the material world your entire world. So the Quran wants to take you and take your heart and take your focus away from that. And where does the Quran want to put your focus on? Where? Only on two things. Number one, you should be focused on Allah. Your heart should be attached to Allah. Your life should be attached to Allah. And number two, you should be focused on serving humanity. That is what a'malu salihah is. That's what good actions are. The best actions are those that serve people. Not enrich yourself. Not build your own empire. So the Quran fundamentally wants you to take you and shift your life away from a materialistic, self-centered, nafsi, me life to an ummah life, a we life. That I cannot eat and my Muslim brother is starving. There's something fundamentally wrong with that. I can't buy my third, fourth holiday house while my Muslim brother is homeless. It's an ethical problem. It's a moral problem. You're going to be accountable for it. Where did you spend your time? Where did you spend your health? Where did you earn your money? How did you spend your money? Nothing comes free. And the Quran awakens you to what? To accountability for your life. Because the world will say there's no accountability. All you have to do is have fun. It's your wealth, your money, your time. Do what you want and have fun and waste your time. No, that's not the way of the believer. Our believer, we have a jihad, we have a struggle in our lives. And I can see the change in the students when they study the Quran. You can witness the change in the students as their heart becomes detached. Like, normally when a student comes in and they, mashallah, assalamu alaikum, how are you doing? No, I'm the manager, I'm the CEO of this. And in the third, fourth year, I don't know for work anymore. I wish I can study full time. As you go through this, you realize that my self-importance because of my career accolades means nothing. It literally means nothing. I'm not saying it's unimportant. I'm saying don't attach your self-importance to your own career. I was not going to ask you, Marshall, did you make it to manager? Partner? A special door for partners. VIP entrance into Jannah. No. What did you do with your wealth? What did you do with your time? What did you do with your skills? That's going to be asked. That's going to be asked. So that's the InLight story. Now the challenge is this, right? This is like the product of years of thinking and discussion and engagement. The challenge is this. We have all the challenges here on the community side. Serious challenges. Organizational challenges, developmental challenges, underinvestment, lack of capacity. Every challenge you can find, HR problems, everything you can find here. Then we have all the other skills on the one side. We have the investment professionals, we have the HR professionals, we have the strategy guys, we have the management guys, we have everything on this side. The question is, how do we take this side that has all the skills, capacity, expertise, and how do we plug it into the problems to try to elevate this side? Are you with me? Because even if you're running a hifz school or a madrasa, you still need an accountant and a lawyer and someone to do your marketing and someone to do your HR and someone to do your strategy, because you're an organization. But now it's one sheikh, one maulana there. He can't do all those things. He didn't do his MBA. He did an alim course. So how do we take the world of these skills and tie it to the world of these skills to produce something special? To produce something special. So this is the kind of beginning of InLight. And what does InLight do is like our kind of philosophy is that if you want to build a successful society, you have to build strong institutions. Institutions are the vehicles that produce change. For example, a madrasa like this is an institution. A masjid like this is an institution. A youth group is an institution. If we raise those institutions and their strength, that impact is multiplied throughout the community. So the InLight focus is that we're not a welfare organization. We're not here to look after orphans or to feed people or to do any of those things. What InLight is here to do is InLight is here to be the bridge that ties the skill, resources and talents of the professional community, and it ties it and it serves the organizations. So the InLight client is not the end client, the InLight client is the organization. So we will support the orphanage, or we will support the madrasa, or we will support the mosque, because they already the institution. We don't duplicate their work. We want to say, you are at this stage, how can we take you to this stage? You're running like this now, what happens when your leader dies? Who's going to carry on? We're going to close down again. We have to develop our institutions. So this is what we do. And I feel excited about it because what we have right in front of us in the room now, if you think about your own careers, your own professions, is we have enormous capability here. You know, if we come together, because we come together to study Nahwu and Sarf and where's the fa'il, and that's fine because that's what we came for. But if we came together and we looked at one or two problem statements and we applied our minds, it would be easy to fix them. It wouldn't be that difficult because they're not huge. You deal with much greater challenges every day. Now you take a simple problem, it will be easy to fix if you bring the right people, the right resources together. So InLight wants to do 4 things, and then we'll end with this after the 4 things, inshallah. The 4 things we want to do is, number 1, is that we have to take the organization and we have to build out the organization. From the very top, from the leadership development and the strategy of the organization. For example, you're starting a hifz school, a madrasa, a youth group, a feeding scheme, an orphanage. What is your strategic plan? Where are you going with this? Where do you see yourself in 5, 10 years' time? What are the tools that you need? What are the skills that you need? We have to build out the organization. A big area we're looking at also is governance and financial management. It's also a big issue in the institutions. You have to have credibility, you have to have the right institutions, constitutions, registrations, boards in place, so you can win the trust of the public, that you have accountability for your operations. Because once you have it in place, then it's much easier to attract funding, to attract support. Financial management, operation management, and a big third part is marketing and sustainability. Do you know who my real focus is? It's not the big NGOs. Alhamdulillah, the big NGOs like Sons of Islamic Relief, Awqaf, they have budgets to market themselves. Yes, we do help them, alhamdulillah, but they have budgets to market themselves. My concern really is a madrasa in Delft, in Khayelitsha, a youth group in Mitchell's Plain. It's groups who are small that don't have access to a network to support them. Because you only get marketing from certain organizations who have your email, who are able to produce media, who is able to send it. There are hundreds of them you don't know about because they aren't able to reach a market. So a big part of our thing is trying to bring those stories and bring those causes to the market because they're often most in need of it. No. A second thing we want to do is so that's organization development. How are we going to do it? I'll discuss a bit later, inshallah. Second thing is training and capacity development. How many madrasa teachers do you know went for teacher training? If I had to estimate, I would estimate we have in excess of maybe 3,000 madrasa teachers in Cape Town. How many of them, what are they responsible for? Teaching your children. How many of those 3,000 went for teacher training? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine we're a community who sends our children to teachers who haven't been trained to teach? Not even like a weekend course. So we as a community, we couldn't produce even a weekend course to support the teaching of our children. Whose responsibility is that? It's our responsibility. How many of them have management training? Marketing training? So a big part of InLight, alhamdulillah, is that we want to offer accredited courses for the NGO community. The NGO community. Because you have to have something in place. You can't just have anybody just finishing hifz, finishing an alim course and starting to teach, because teaching is a separate skill from technical knowledge. And those who are teachers will know that it's a separate discipline, it's a separate skill. And we have to invest in that. The third thing we want to do, inshallah, and this exciting is we want to, and you've seen some of it before, is manage crowdfunding. So manage crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is basically when you have a project and you put it out there and the crowd basically supports the project, and I'll show you some of the projects now, inshallah. But the idea is basically to create a vehicle for financial support for these institutions, because they really suffer greatly. And the third thing, and the fourth thing, which is also very exciting, is that no one has all the answers. No one has the answers. And what we need actually is we need platforms of engagement where we can come together and people similar to us who are concerned can come together and discuss in focus areas on certain issues in the community and actually develop a solution and run the solution. But there has to be engagement, platforms of engagement. So a few things we're looking at here is that, for example, thing like a professional resource database. Are there professionals here who would like to volunteer 3 hours of your time a month, 4 hours of your time? We put you in a database, we find the people who need you, and we hook you up and you do your 4 hours of service. So the accountant doesn't go to the soup kitchen and hand out soup. The accountant goes to the madrasa and does accounting. Because we can find people to hand out the soup. You with me? So we can basically take your skills in your area and you can align it to the in the client organization. We also want to promote industry networking. What I mean industry networking is, unlike the professional industries, the kind of Islamic studies industries, they work very independently. Like the madrasas don't have a conference, they come together and network, they don't have a professional body, they don't have a resource sharing. Every person just restarts from ground zero and buys some textbooks and starts from zero, and there's no shared learning. So we want to create some platforms of shared learning. And I think one thing exciting for me is just focus teams on specific areas. And I'll give some examples. For example, is that why don't we come together and we create one IT solution for all the madrasas? You create it once and you solved 300 problems. And it's a simple thing, but everybody's using sheets and Excel and not doing admin, and we all kind of inventing from scratch. We don't have the kind of focus, that kind of investment. We're also doing some media production services and some research projects. I'm going to quickly end off with the four areas. I'm going to say what we are doing. So this is like basically our kind of what we want to do. But what we want to do is we want to offer these 4 things, because then you can develop the organization, you can develop the staff, you can create scalable solutions, which has been thought through by professional teams, and you can run the scalable solutions, and you can solve problems. You can solve problems. And crowdfund all the projects. So that's the approach. Some of the things we've been doing, for example, is that we're using one madrasa as a pilot project. It's called Ansar Rahman in Seawinds. You'll find most of our projects are run from there now. Is because we want to create 1 or 2 model madrasas. They don't just teach you to read, they also give you academic support. And they do personal development, they do leadership training, they do art, they do sports. A holistic madrasa, because the needs of the community is holistic. You with me? You have to meet the needs of the community. So we want to develop one best practice site. And it takes a while to develop that, so we're working on with Seawinds. Our next project, inshallah, you'll find the video next week, inshallah, is that we want to launch something called Project Spotlight. And Spotlight takes an organization and does 4 things for them. Simple 4 things. We give them an NPC, a non-profit corporation registration, so they have a legal body. And then we give them a website so they can actually display their work, and some brochures and some business cards. It's 4 simple things, but now it allows the organization to go to market. Because previously then the person in charge types something on a page or WhatsApp message and sends it out. There's no formality, there's no governance, there's no visibility as well. So just something simple like that, like formalizing them, will make a big difference. And the other thing we're doing that was exciting is we're doing a market day pilot at Seawinds. I mean, if you ask any Islamic institution what's the first problem, they're going to say, funding. I don't believe we can donor fund all institutions. I don't think it's feasible. I think we should try. Let's collect money and give it to them. But if you say they say it's like 1,000 madrasahs times what's the budget, 20, 30,000 a month, the numbers become too big. And the people are also not big enough to give. So in the end, you can't madrasas. So one of our focus now is can we create business ventures within the madrasah to make the madrasah fully or partly sustain itself. So we're trying one concept for now, is we're trying a market day for a madrasah in their own area. Not like a market day where Mizan runs it for someone else. So in Seawinds, they run it for, like it's called Seawinds Market Day. It's not linked to Islamic things, it's a community market day. And then we will we'll bring in the supply of the products and so on. And then we'll see if can we have one market day that will 50, 60, 80, 100% sustain the madrasah. If it works there, you can repeat it 10 times because it's a localized thing. You with me? It's not like it's not a Cape Town thing, it's a localized initiative. So we're working with Islamic Relief to bring in some of their things. We're working with other organizations to bring in products at no cost or at a cost price so they can profit, so they can become sustainable. If it works in one place, it's exciting because it's going to work in 30 other places. You can take the same model, the same supply lines, the same SOPs, put it there, and it should work, inshallah. Because people, even in the poor community, they do spend money. Why don't they spend at the madrasah? The madrasah can sustain itself. And also, it gives the madrasah independence. They don't want handouts, they want independence. And especially in the black communities, there's a history of this kind of handout culture. We want to generate independence in the institutions itself. Okay, capacity, I won't go through all those things, but alhamdulillah, we have an agreement with a seat accredited company to run some courses, so we are busy working on that. And we want to launch a number of courses. We also launched the Leaders of Light program, where we get people who are teaching to actually do formal Islamic studies, because many of them haven't done it before. Crowdfunding. So alhamdulillah, we launched our website. I don't know if you've seen our website. So we launched our website this weekend. So the idea is basically a crowdfunding model where when you open a project, there's like visibility in the project. Because you have to have visibility in the project. In other words, the project has a stated goal, a stated timeline, stated outcomes, and as people contribute, you can see what the contribution is until it reaches the top, so you can donate on here as well. And then we will send updates as the project runs. And when the project is done, it closes. So the donor community sees the results immediately. So there's like this transparency in the approach. So we're creating this vehicle, inshallah, to try to generate, because we want that kind of visibility from the donors. You can see what's happening with your funding. You can see the pictures, the videos. We have a filmmaker on board as well, who's working for us. You can see what's happening and it's visible. Beyond seeing what's happening, also we want to create an emotional connection between the donor and the client. So it's not so informal and impersonal. It's actually a Muslim brother. Perhaps you even grew up in that area. Perhaps you grew up there, but now you're in the nice suburbs. But don't forget where you come from. Don't forget where you come from. No. Okay, so that's where quite a few things. Last thing is that we have our engagement, we have our media services now. So we basically have a full-time media professional. So we want to offer media services at like a fraction, like 1/10 of the normal cost. Because we want the institution to be able to generate the media, to sustain themselves, to display their work. Because if you're not on the social media platforms, you're sort of lost. So we want to create that functionality. Quite a few other things. Maybe the last thing to end off with is that we have also we're working with Sanzaf. We're doing a mentorship program with them because we want to develop. They have 300 bursary students We want to provide mentorship, and especially what I'm excited about from all of you, which we're going to call upon you, is we're going to look for career mentors. So if you're third, fourth year doing finance or medicine or engineering, want to find a career mentor, and we'll tie you to a bursary student, and we'll put you together so you can guide them and you can advise them and you can maybe even facilitate for them, just for them to get a link into the professional market. Because it's quite difficult, highly competitive, so we'll have a career mentor for senior bursary students working with Sons of on this project, and for the junior students we'll have an academic mentor that's going to support you and help you out at campus and so on. So these are kind of solutions that we are looking at. Have most of you seen the projects? Maybe I'll play a short video just with some excerpts out of some of the projects that we've run so far, but there's much more that we would like to do, inshallah. Introduce the InLight Scholarship Program. This program is aimed specifically at afternoon Madrasah teachers who have been teaching for many years, that are dedicated and hardworking, but have never had the opportunity to pursue full-time Islamic studies. So we'd like to afford them the opportunity to do a full-time Islamic studies course for 1 or 2 years, and we'd like to cover their tuition fees, cover their transport costs, as well as provide a teaching stipend. The benefit of this program is that if you invest in one teacher, you are investing in a generation and a legacy of students. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We are at Madrasah Hassan. As you can see, alhamdulillah, the Wendy house is up. We'd like to thank the community for their generous contribution. And alhamdulillah, the students have a class now to sit in and to have some protection from the rain and from the sun. We pray that the community keeps supporting these projects.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Madrasah Hassan Islamic Institute would like to take this opportunity, alhamdulillah, to say shukran jazilan for InLight Foundation for making it possible, alhamdulillah, for the madrasah to have a Wendy house. We just want to say to all people that contributed and towards the project, alhamdulillah, shukran so much. Allah reward you, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah, we reached the end of the Quran intensive. Maybe you can just give us some feedback with regard to how it was, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah, yes, we reached the end of the Quran intensive program, and it was really, once again, for the second time now, very beautiful experience, having the Quran become alive in the madrasah, in the lives of the students. We even had parents getting involved in the recording of lessons and those type of things with the Quran, alhamdulillah.
Those are just some of the kind of initial projects. We wanted to test the market and see the response, and also for ourselves get into the market, because we don't normally interact in those circles. It's important to get out and to connect and to just start somewhere. So where we've come to now is that the next challenge is this. The next challenge is to create a solution that is scalable. Like we as a community, we invest in one solution that works in one place, and we scale it out 30, 40, 50, 100 times. Whether it's a training solution, whether it's an IT solution, whether it's a business development solution, but it takes too much energy to fix one madrasa's problem than you have 200 others. You rather focus on one area, create a solution, and then scale it out a few times, because it becomes easier to scale out. So that's the kind of approach that we are taking. So over to you, how can you assist? My kind of dream, this is my dream, is that we as a community, as a Muslim ummah, our mindset becomes community. So before you think of your next lounge suite or your next car or your next holiday you're going to go to, what's first in your mind is your Muslim brother and sister, or even your Muslim brother and sister in humanity. That our mindset becomes community. Because that is the only thing that will ever make you happy. That's the only thing that's going to count on the Day of Judgment. That your mindset becomes about community, and community in Arabic is ummah. Your mindset becomes ummah, not nafsi. And you know how we will look as an ummah if we are to rise up all of us and become people of ummah. Can you imagine for one moment that all this entire Muslim ummah of Cape Town and South Africa rises up and their mindset becomes ummah, becomes community. Do you know how powerful that is? In a world of being self-centered and nafsi, there's a community rising up saying, Ummah, Ummah. That's my dream. Whether through InLight or whether through anybody else, doesn't matter. But that is my dream. Because I believe that to be the sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is first for the ummah. He didn't care about himself. He didn't care about his possessions. That is the dream, inshallah. So how can I help InLight specifically? Number one is remember us in your du'as. Most importantly. There's no success except through Allah. And Allah, we don't know where things are going to go. Things might fizzle out or things might grow. It's all in the hands of Allah. Remember us, remember the ummah in your du'as. Number two is spread the word of InLight and the word of community work. Spread it within your networks. Because, for example, we email you and we WhatsApp you, but you have your own network. So spread the word and spread the consciousness within your own network. If you times your own, if it's 1,000 or 500 people here times 1,000 people, it becomes 500,000 people. It's a multiplier effect. So rather, instead of sending some memes or sending some random jokes and YouTube clips, send something which is meaningful, inshallah. And discuss something which is meaningful, inshallah. In your lunch break, in your coffee break. Number three is we're going to call upon you to volunteer your skills. Volunteer your mind, your thoughts, your experiences. So when we call upon you, we're going to ask you to respond. When we call upon you to become mentors, we're going to ask you to make some time to become a mentor. We're going to call upon you to come join a focus group and join a discussion group around a certain area. Make the time, the effort, the sacrifice to come out and to join the discussion. And even if you're not sure what you're going to do, just join the discussion because you want to. There's something you can contribute, inshallah. But you must have something which you do beyond yourself. And thirdly, I suppose you all have a pledge card in front of you, so what I'm going to ask next, is that we need to invest in an engine that does this work. Because if we don't invest in the engine, the talk ends and we go away and then no one coordinates all this stuff. So the InLight vision is we want to create the engine in the middle that coordinates this work, that develops the solutions, that networks with the professional community, that understands the needs of the institutions, and who actually rolls out the solutions within the institutions. So it's ironic because the institution trying to do sustainability themselves have to sustain themselves as well. But that's how life is. And we want to obviously get the right staff in place, a professional body, a proper group of employees who are able to execute at a high level, inshallah. So what we are asking you, if you're able to, there's no pressure at all whatsoever, is that if you are able to contribute towards InLight, to do so, inshallah. So all of you have a pledge card in front of you. You are welcome to complete it if you want to. There's no pressure at all. If you want to, and you can indicate whether you will be happy to make a monthly donation or a annual or once-off contribution. Obviously, monthly is easier for us because it's more stable in terms of cash flow and so on, and it makes it much more sustainable. The kind of InLight goal is that as we develop services, we generate more income and it becomes more sustainable. We offer training services, consulting services, development services. We become more sustainable, but initially you do need a seed capital investment to get the institution off the ground. So that's going to be that's the approach, inshallah. So if you like to contribute something, you can the form. They will follow up, no doubt, with you to get it. And if you're doing a monthly form, someone will contact you later on with all the details for the debit order form, and it can be cancelled at any time. You just email them and say, I can't continue, and then it will be cancelled at any time, so there's no obligation going forward. So that's it from our side, inshallah. But we do believe, I'm excited about this. I'm so excited this year. This is taking most of my life this year. So I'm teaching less this year to focus on this, because this work takes years of effort, and that's to start now before I get too old. So we must start now, inshallah. So for me, like I'm the director of InLight and one of the founders. So for me, it's my full-time kind of passion that I do this most or half of my time, and half teaching and half into organizational development, inshallah. So if you are able to, you can complete the form. There's no time like the present. Do you have the pledge form? I know the pledge forms. Who doesn't have pledge forms in front of them? You're in front, inshallah. The pledge form is basically just a pledge, so you can see if you're going to fulfill it or not. But at the back, there are debit order forms if you want to do a debit order form, but there's a pledge form now if you want to complete one, inshallah. And if you do say monthly, and then we'll basically just give you a debit order form to complete, we'll follow up with you. But if all of you can, so for example, if all of you contribute 100 Rand a month, then our problems are solved basically from the InLight point of view. Then we have an engine which is funded to run the community work. Because now we have to sell acne to meet the staff bills, so we don't have to be in that space really. The acne might just be for lunch. So we're not even if you're able to only give 100 Rand or 150 Rand a month, it will make a huge difference, inshallah. May Allah reward you, barakallah. What you can do is you can complete it, inshallah, and you can hand it at the back, at the desks, if you're able to, inshallah. Any other questions? No questions? No. A good question, how do you volunteer services? Basically, we're going to rather launch specific kind of tools. So we have a volunteer application form, or we'll have an engagement forum, which you'll basically volunteer and you'll put your interest and your background and so on. So we have a formal call for volunteers, inshallah. Yes, yes. Yeah, so basically there will be an InLight box here weekly, and also we'll share the EFT details with you via WhatsApp, inshallah, and via email. We'll share the EFT details with you. And the details are all here if you go to the website. So remember the website as well, inlight.org.za. If you go to donate, then on donate, you'll find our banking details there. And also if you want to do credit card payments, you can go to the Spread the Light, donate now. So there's an online portal if you want to make donations as well via credit card or PayPal or whatever else, inshallah. So the website, remember the website, inshallah? InLight. InLight.org.za. At the bottom there is the website. It's recently launched, so we're still fixing some bugs, but alhamdulillah, it's up and running, inshallah. Any other questions from the brothers? Alhamdulillah. One immediate request quickly, one last request. We're running our first market day at the 5th of May at Seawinds, inshallah. If you would like to, let me put it this way. The market day works well if the products coming in are cost or below cost. You understand? Because in the madrasah profits more. You following me? For example, for the Islamic Relief, we take second-hand clothing from Islamic Relief, which comes in free. Then we take it to the market, and whatever the market sells, that madrasah makes the profit. So it's a good business. You understand what I mean? So if you have some ideas around that, for example, like you can supply something at no cost or at low cost, then we can put it as part of the market day, and the idea is to create a scalable supply line eventually. But also, on the other hand, also if you want to, the market day has a list of things it wants to sell in the meantime and wants to do. So if you want to do something for the market day, Sister Nasreen at the back there has a list of things that need to be given for the market day. Because one of our thinking is can we get some of the things contributed so that the market day becomes more sustainable, so the madrasah does one event and it's done for the month. You with me? So if someone does packaging every month, for example, like we need some packaging, like 100 foam buckets, if you do that every month, and then the market day basically profits off that all the time, inshallah. So if you want to contribute, must I come to you? Come to Sister Nasreen. Inshallah, there's a form there if you want to do something. And if you have ideas, it's important. If you have ideas on what we can put into the market day to make it more sustainable, then it helps the market day because now we increase the product range and then they also profit more. But it must be something which makes financial sense for the effort involved. Barakallah. Alhamdulillah, it's in Surah Al-Asr. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. So I took so much of your time. Inshallah, we resume at 10:45 inshallah.